Hey, how's it going, everybody? Some crazy news in the RLCS world. If you guys didn't watch my video previously where we talked about the new announcements from the RLCS team, the RL esports team, with the age restrictions and all that kind of stuff, it provides some interesting perspective. But in today's video, we're actually going to talk about some teams that may regret actually locking their rosters after the news. We've got some roster changes, some people dropping out of the space, and I don't think it's due to them not wanting to be in it. It has to do for financial reasons, as well as otherwise. We're gonna keep these pages both up to make it pretty straightforward for y'all if you guys aren't sure. We got a bunch of people hanging out in chat. Make sure you guys say hi to YouTube. If you guys go into my Twitch channel and type !RLCS rosters, it'll pull up a bit.ly link. It'll pull up this document here. It's got all the latest roster news, updates, all that kind of stuff, as well as this. We'll be breaking this down, as you guys know, into additional tabs to make it separate for each of the regions, so it's not just an amalgamation of chaos. Chicago going to Space Station Gaming, which we talked about. We mentioned a while ago, hey, there is basically everybody waiting to see where Justin goes, and after we find out where Justin goes, we then have the ability to see where the rest of these spots fit in. Arsenal is leaving, so they're going to be trying out between Aris and Chicago. I thought veteran experience probably going to be a better idea, someone that's kind of a jack of all trades they don't have to build up and learn with. Space Station does go with Kago. I think his intangibles are what makes him his strongest. He's also not going to have to be this golden striker, best mechanical whatever on the team. They've got two really solid players on that roster. So if Chicago's just a jack of all trades, a very consistent player, which is the thing that I criticize on, is his offense has been a little bit here or there sometimes. Accuracy problems once in a while, but great communication, great leadership opportunities. I think Space Station, I don't know if play-wise, I don't know if it's an improvement when it comes to like the player itself, but I think what he brings with the intangibles is what makes Space Station strong. I think I've been talking about this for way too long. It's just good to see it finally confirmed. I do like this roster actually quite a bit. I think this team could surprise people as kind of a dark horse of, hey, we know the obvious with the Gen Gs and the G2s and stuff, but I think this roster has a ton of potential. People forget that when they were with Arsenal, they were only together for one split and made top 8 at Worlds. Very talented team with LJ and Hoxer. And adding Chicago, I think, is going to benefit them in ways that most people won't see necessarily on paper. Again, he just needs to play consistent, needs to play solid, and the rest will come through. So he talks about, hey, team cohesion, all that kind of stuff. I think there is a reason why they went with the veteran who has some inconsistency problems. I'm not saying that's him. I just think that his shooting could be better sometimes. So you're taking that over a new, young, up-and-coming talent who's been trying out with everyone. There is a reason why behind the decision. My only assumption is because Scrims really put it into place. Second one, we already knew. It's about time they announced it. It is going to be NRG. They are confirming the roster. If you guys didn't see the recent video that they put out about their new sponsor for their like team castle thing, the NRG Castle, they leaked a lot of the collaborations that they're doing in that. They also had the entire team with Garrett walking through the video. And it had these players also showcasing. So if you guys do not know, obviously Garrett, you've got Mist and Frosty. They do confirm their roster. That will be the iteration moving forward. I'm not surprised by this based upon how tryouts and stuff went. We did get to see them in a couple of the off-season tournaments. I do think this is going to be one that takes a little bit of time. It almost reminds me of Team BDS to an extent. I would say BDS obviously with Drawley. Drawley is better than Frosty in my opinion, rightfully so. And because of that, it is going to take maybe a split to kind of find their footing to see how things go. Also, as critical as we are, you guys all know the stupid phase drama where no one looked good. Mist, as long as he puts in the hours, he still has world-class capabilities as a midfield presence. He is arguably one of the best defenders in the world when he's playing the game. So as long as hours are there, maybe a new environment, a little bit of motivation. It's something that Garrett, one of my favorite qualities about him is no one has to tell him to put in 40 hours past week, because he knows it's his job. There's a reason why he's been here since season 1. Maybe they'll run off on Mist. I don't know. Excited to find out, but hopefully a new roster, new young gun, try to set a precedent on how things should be acted, and Fireburner hopefully whips them into shape as well as the coach. Either way, I think this team has a lot of potential as well. They are hoping to not be that team that gets bumped out in 9-12. They can push into top 8 and give themselves a chance consistently, like they did somewhat towards the tail end of last season. Also, last but not least, PSG Tundra announcing that they are exiting Rocket League, and I do not think this is due to them not wanting to be in the RLCS. I think primarily there's a lot of people who do enjoy RLCS. There's a lot of people that want to be there. They made this collaboration with Tundra and PSG as a collaboration for the RLCS. They don't have anything else. Otherwise, they are separate. These two collaborated together to make this a specific thing. And my belief is the reason why they are going, and they even allude to it, is the sustainability. PSG Tundra, let's call it what it is, whether it be Tundra. PSG Tundra went to one major. PSG has kind of been all over the place. They haven't looked really that great since the OG days of Savage with like Fruity and Devo and Bluey and names of that nature. But outside of that, they haven't ever really had a solid team. They've got a team that's somewhat competent, somewhat competitive, and they don't really make any content. They're not doing anything to get proper ROI. So while they're saying, hey, sustainability in the scene, which by all means, team decals and stuff, rev share options and everything, this kind of stuff is part of the reason why this team is leaving. I don't think it has anything to do with not being able to find a roster. I think they could easily go and sign Magnifico. I think Magnifico would be a great field for them, but instead they're backing out because financially it doesn't make sense to. Part of the esports winter with all these teams and these rosters they are backing out because financially they are struggling to find ROI or a return on their investment. They're paying tens of thousands a month to field a team, and with that team they are only getting marketing expenses. They are promoting something, and if they don't have a proper avenue of revenue to promote alongside that, and I've talked about this in detail for a long time, think Mr. Beast. Mr. Beast is his own marketing tool. His reach on his videos is marketable. So what does he do? He builds a business, Feastables, Feast Burger, things of that nature to promote, and those things then pay him, and he is able to use that money to then promote it through his own marketing. Obviously, that is a high level. That is a very crazy kind of mentality of it. Also, yes, a long time ago I was. But with this in mind, teams need to do a better job of finding ways to draw revenue. And if you do have high notable names, for example, I personally don't know if the Muffin Men are going to do that great with Squishy, Gimmick, and Aqua. But Squishy has a massive YouTube channel, so making sure that you have him pushing content, increasing the name, maybe that brings some endorsements. But all these organizations that are focusing on partnerships, sponsorship dollars, is the reason why they are in the position they are now. You cannot rely on sponsors to give you a ton of money just so you can be, hey, we'll put your name on our jersey. It is not viable. You are increasing your own brand awareness, and that's it. To me, that doesn't really do anything when it comes to quantifiable money, things that actually drive revenue. And because of that, you're going to continue to see teams leave or merge or become acquired hand over fist. There is a few out there that are doing it very, very well. Shoutouts to G2 and what they're accomplishing and how they're treating their staff and their players. But yeah, it is crazy to see a dime a dozen of these have no idea why things are, and they think the only way to improve it is if the scene has sustainability, when they themselves could be the ones that are sustaining it instead. Now, I will say, yes, rev share options could be better for RLCS, and there's some things they could do to make it better. Not everybody can be Valorant with 100 different gun skins and all the money they make from that, but like they said, like some of these teams are making like $400,000 in Valorant or something ridiculous. Like the return is worth it. So again, there's some things that need to happen definitely on the RLCS side, but there's also a lot of things these organizations could be doing to help themselves out. So with that in mind, if you guys want to hear more about that kind of stuff, stop by the stream or let me know in the comments down below. I'm happy to answer anything about the business side of things or why these things are happening. But I will say some of these rosters that are locking in might now be like, maybe we don't do that. Maybe we try out Scribbles or Life or some of these 13, 14-year-old kids that are really, really good. And maybe we see another roster shuffle in the next month. I would not be surprised if some of the rosters that you guys know and love pull a Claverity where they're like, hey, you're with us, Oath, for 2 days. Just kidding. So we'll see how things go. Either way, if you guys enjoy the content, like, subscribe, notifications, and we'll see you in the next one.